Hello and welcome to card number 6 for September's virtual stamp camp. Just going to give a few seconds, but not too long, for some of you to jump on in. This might be a better time if some of you are done for work for the day and such. Had a busy day, ran out to Sioux Falls. I was there most of the day, and so I'm a little tired, and sometimes that makes me a little silly and such. So hello, Julie. Thanks for popping on in. So I'm going to get things set up while some more of you join me here. And it might also be a terrible time because maybe some of you are actually commuting or something and can't watch. You should be watching if you're driving. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining in. So yes, this looks like my iPad is all set up. I'm going to set that down. Okay. And so, like I said, today's card number 6, so kind of on the second half of my pack of 10 cards for September's virtual stamp camp. And today I'm going back to the annual catalog and bringing you the Tasteful Textures bundle. So can't take credit for this card. I have a couple Stampin' friends out there, and Sherry is from Tennessee, and I might butcher her last name because when you haven't met a friend, except for virtually, and a lot of Stampin' friends are like that, but there are a lot that we see and meet in person too, but it's Sherry Mellier or Mellier if it's French. So I kind of stole this idea for the most part from her. Not sure if I got all the colors right, but something similar. And she said that she got her idea from Kelly Aitchison, who is a Stampin' friend of mine too. So maybe Kelly took it from somebody else. So I'm going to make sure that I make this for you guys. And then if you want to continue on by copying it, making it, then it will continue to go on too. So in the annual catalog, if you like to follow along, then this card is from page 122, or I should say the supplies, the Tasteful Textures bundles starts on page 122, and there's a whole suite of products too. So I'm going to move my camera around and get set up for you guys. So let me switch that here. Like so, to get it to my workstation. Quiet day, only 3 yesterday. I felt like there was so many people on, but that's okay. And it's Wednesday, so maybe hump day just like got everybody off schedule. In fact, it's been such a, I don't know, productive week, long week. It seems like it should be longer than that. Hi, Renee. Hi, Sue. Okay, so here's the card straight on. I always like showing it to you again straight on because when I show it to you with my picture then of me, or I should say talking, then everything's always reversed. Okay, so like I said, so these products, the dies and the stamps are from, the Tasteful Touches stamp set, and I love the imagery in here. Lots of texture, which it's supposed to have, and just a whole, like if you think about it, how different everything is. But one of my favorite things are the fonts in here, the style. I love that it's cursive, but not too fancy, that you can still read it. This one's pretty square, but I love this one too, especially for birthday cards and such. So today I'm using the Good Things in Life Are Better With You. Hi, Joyce. Thanks for joining in. Okay, so I'm getting it from the annual catalog, page 122. So here's kind of the whole In Good Taste suite, and you can see all the great samples that they've provided. And so then the bundle, whoops, switched over 2 pages. So the bundle is here where you can see the stamp sets, and then the dies. If you have watched any of my videos, the Tasteful Touches dies, you know, I've been using a ton because they coordinate with so many things that I just love incorporating them in my products. And there too, even the dies have a fun texture look to them too. They add a lot of depth. So let me get started with the card. I think it's going to be kind of a fun, quick and easy card for you guys. I'm just going to maybe put this a little bit closer to my workstation there. Maybe even zoom it out a little bit so that can be seen. Hi, Vicki. Thanks for joining. Okay, so what I want to show you is if you like to make cards, multiples of cards, this is also a great card because if you have another saying that you want to put, if you like a different color combination, and maybe even just another stamp set, you can just kind of look at and see all the different like ways that you could swap things out and just copy this layout. And I'm always big on copy a layout. So even if you don't have the supplies that I'm using, if you can copy a layout, you can make a card. So I also love making multiples of cards. Do any of you guys like make just one card? Or if you're gonna sit down, you're gonna make maybe like 3 to 10 of a card, possibly. So I'm going to show you how you can kind of do that too. So the base of my card is that Rococo Rose, and it's one of last year's in colors, and I love, it's kind of that dusty mauve, and I've been married for 27 years, and this was super popular. So my wedding color is what I think of when I think of Rococo Rose. And then the next layer is going to be basic black, and those two really pop well together. I love that. And then the other colors that I'm using are another layer here of the Rococo Rose, and then Pear Pizzazz and Smoky Slate. So what I'm going to show you is I open up my basic gray, and actually this is the only stamp pad that I need to use on the entire card. So just using one ink pad makes it simple right from the start. I've got a fuzz here. I think it's from my paper trimmer, which I hope to remember to show you a little technique that I do if you guys have trouble sometimes with your paper trimmer. Okay, so I'm going to start with a big floral or flower image here and just ink that up kind of lightly but firmly on my basic gray ink pad. And this is my Smoky Slate. So I'm just going to ink, and I'm just gonna like actually kind of create more of a background image than our background paper. So it's almost like we're going to make our own designer series paper. So I'll set that aside and then go with the next largest image, which is kind of this little wildflower spray image from that same stamp set. And I'm going to ink that up as well in the basic gray. And I don't want to take away or take up too much space because we still have to make room for these fun little squares here. And you can see that they're not perfect. They're meant to be texture more than anything. So I'm going to actually make sure that that fits on there twice because there's room for that much. And I'm going to kind of go at an angle there. And I want to just add a little bit more color there so you can see the difference of stamping solid versus not inking it up and just stamping it a couple more times. This is where it doesn't have to be perfect. So this looks super busy, but I'm going to cut this into strips. So then that will kind of just take away. So to save time, because I know you guys all can repeat that. So I did kind of that same thing on Pear Pizzazz and also on the Rococo Rose. So I did that ahead of time. And so then what I do next is, I'm gonna scoot my card up to the side, is take out my paper trimmer. And I did remember, so I'm going to tell you, I love my Take Your Pick tool. You'll see I use it often. And so with the sharp end here, if the camera will pick that up, the sharp tip there, once in a while I'll get fuzzies and I think, oh, is it ready or time to change my blade again? And I do, if you guys know me, I make hundreds of cards a month. So sometimes just changing the blade is what I need to do. Other times I get little tiny paper fuzzes or glitter or something stuck in here. So I'll just take that sharp end, but make sure you do this gently because you don't want to increase the spread of what this seam is. So just kind of gently go down with the tip of your Take Your Pick tool. And then that just gets rid of, and you can usually pick up like some fuzz, but I just did that. So there's not going to be any, it's almost like toe jam in the paper crafting world. So that's what that is. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is cut these into strips. So this is, let me get back to the base. This is 5.5 by 4 1/4. So the next size base is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. And so I'm just making sure that this going across here is 3.75 to be that next shorter 1/4 inch measurement. but I want my strips to be 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to trim. Whoops, I didn't get that all the way to the top, I guess. I'm gonna see if I can get that re-lined up. There we go. 1.5, and I'm just gonna go like ta-da, all the way across just because I can. Like so. So you can see that, and actually I'm not gonna need all 3 of these for my card. I'm just gonna need 1 of them. And so I'm not gonna take the time to cut all of these all the way across. So I only need 1.5 inches from here. And then with my Pear Pizzazz, I need 1.5 inches off of that layer too. So I'm just gonna set those aside because that's, that one step then is done. And next I'm going to use my Big Shot, but before I get out my Big Shot, I'm going to do a little bit more stamping. Hi Donna, thanks for joining in. I feel like I catch you at a better time when I'm later in the day. Okay, so the sentiment here, the good things in life are better with you. Just gonna stamp that out once again in my basic gray. Kind of looks like if I were to be judgmental about myself, that's maybe going up a little bit, but I'm going to cut that out with a die in my embossing machine so I can kind of, the good thing about that is make that crookedness become better. Okay, so the dies are the Tasteful Labels dies, and I've been using, like I said, using these a lot. And with Stamp Camp, this is my virtual Stamp Camp card number 6. So I try and do a lot of variety when I'm doing my cards. So I haven't done a lot with this bundle. I think, you know, I've been doing so many cards in between too. I think I might have used 1 or 2 of these like in the last couple weeks, but I'm going to use this one. But you can see there's like 3 that are missing that are up there, but there's a lot of great die labels for labels dies for different sentiments and such too. So I'm going to use a pretty large one, and I'm going to bring over my machine. And I love my new magnetic plate for my die cutting machine. So if you get the magnetic plate, or actually first, if you get the new Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, then everything you need is with it. Even if you have 3D embossing folders, that specialty plate comes with it. The only thing that I have added on to my order to get is this magnetic plate here. Hello, Linda Sampson, how are you? Okay, so so what I love about it is it's thin, and then you'll want to know how to layer because that's not really spelled out very well in the catalog. So you'll go platform, the big thick platform number 1, and then kind of that shim, I want to call it, that skinny little piece number 2, and then you'll do your magnetic platform there. And it's important, they say, to kind of rotate, and I can see where I've cut a little bit here, so I'm going to put this one down here. So the more you rotate on your mat where you're cutting, the longer it will last. Because like anything, you just kind of want to keep things even. So I love, here, I'm just going to do that little trick that I love to do. So see, you can tell that it's magnetized because it just holds it right there in place. And because I thought it was going up, I kind of have my label at just a hair going up too, so hopefully I can make the sentiment look more squared within the label than I did on my piece of white cardstock. Okay, so I'm just running that through. All right, and so we have that sentiment, and it's just going to pop out. And what I love is that fun stitching around the edges there, and I just love that it's a really simple label that can be used for masculine, feminine cards in all occasions. It doesn't make it too frilly or too non-generic that you can't use it, so that's great too. So now it's just basic assembly, and so I'm going to start with kind of that first matte layer that goes on top of my Rococo Rose. So that matte layer is, like I said, basic black here. And I'm just going to put that on here. And then the next color that I'm going to do is my Rococo Rose. And to keep things so that they are not crooked, or to try and even out kind of that spacing, because sometimes people are like, well, how do you get that from not like getting too much of a border on one versus the other? I start on one end and kind of go, all right, that's that 1/4 inch, which has been my goal, from 1/4 inch from the Rococo rose to the black, and then again to the Rococo rose. And then I will start on the opposite end and get some tape going on the pear pizzazz. And then that's going to go over here. And I'm kind of eyeballing that to be a 1/4 inch. And then of course we always hope that these stay straight so the middle one doesn't have to jiggle too much to make up for my error in judgment on eyeing things. So I'm just gonna finish up with that last smoky slate layer 2. And it's kind of fun because these images don't always add up to like the flower doesn't continue on here. You can tell that all these are different flowers, but by adding the sentiment on the top, it kind of covers up in case that would bother somebody. But I kind of like the busyness but subtleness of the background on that too. Hello, Pam. Nice to have you joining in. Okay, so I have that part done, and then just to make this be a little bit elevated, I'm going to put on some dimensionals. That's always important to just get that lift from the sentiment away from the pattern on there, like so. Let's see, did I get all of them? Nope, one more. And I'm going to put it just a little bit more towards the top than actual center. And the other thing that I love about this die is that with these kind of humps in there and on the sides, it's very easy to line this up. Okay? Kind of, you know that it's on straight, not crooked, so that's great. So this could be the card, and that's fine, but you guys know me, I always like to add that little bit of accessory or something like that. Right, Carol? Hello, Carol. So my little bit of accessory that I want to add to this card, and I've been using lots of these because I love them, the Elegant Faceted Gems. And they're not part of the suite, even though I love everything in this suite. This is part of the Prized Peony, like bundle of products or suite of products. And so that goes really well with those colors. And you can tell I've already used like one of the kind of that silvery color, clear color, already used all of that up. So with my Take Your Pick tool, I'm just going to pull some of this light kind of like pink rose color, and I'm going to take one of the larger ones here and just kind of put that down on the base, because if it's big, we want that to be on the foundation, so that goes on the bottom. And I like to do things in 3 because odd always looks better. So I'm just going to put one over there of the smaller size, and then a third one up there. So we have kind of the base there, and that just kind of subtle. It just kind of adds a little bit, and it just doesn't overtake the design either. Hello, Tori. So Tori's been just waiting for my Facebook Live today, and can I pick on Tori today? Because I did say I was a little tired and a little squirrely and kind of a little silly. So every once in a while people will text, hey, are you doing your Facebook Live today? And Tori did. And then she went on to her autocorrect made her sound like she was at NBC. And so I kind of feel like I'm on NBC, like a news reporter today, checking in with Tori or Belle going live or something like that from NBC. So I feel pretty important today. Okay, so that is my card. Oh, yes, Tori. Okay, so that kind of made my day, and it kind of just made me giggle as I went through the rest of prepping for my card, and I needed that. Like I said, it's kind of been a long day, and just to have something to giggle at. So I need my microphone to look like I'm on NBC. But really, Tori meant to say at, so at turned into NBC with her autocorrect, so that was kind of cute. Okay, so this is card number 6 out of 10 for virtual stamp camp for September. And so how that works, if you want the full set of 10 cards, you can look back at the last few days. I've interspersed some virtual hostesses in there too, but I've kind of labeled each still framed card so that you know which set that you'd be, or which cards you'd be getting in your set of 10. So far I've only designed and done videos and still shots of today it'll be 6 cards, so there are still 4 more to go, and so I will be bringing you the next 4 Tomorrow's Thursday and Friday, and then again next week, Monday and Tuesday. So then I'll have the whole set, and then I'll probably even do not a Facebook Live, but maybe rig something on Facebook so you can see all 10 as a collection. But at any time you can say, hey Belle, I want the set of 10 cards, and then they are $22, or if you place a minimum $75 order using the host code that was on my workstation, or I'll post it also with my still shot of my card. Then if you use that host code, or just let me know and I can help you place your order, then you get the cards for absolutely free. And so it's kind of a neat way to get a lot of variety of cards and get some inspiration too. And I love sending out cards knowing that you guys are sending them on to other people and brightening mailboxes all over the place, and that makes my day. Thank you, Joyce. Yes, like I said, I was trying to copy somebody else a little bit, and I don't know if I got the colors right or not, but I love how this turned out. So in sharing the colors with you, then you can always change it up a little bit too. So that's it for today's Facebook Live, and hopefully I brought you some inspiration. If you ever have questions, know that this is my full-time gig, and I love answering and helping out in that way too. So I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon. Take care.